By show of hands, who's ever had an interest in investing in property? You know, you see all these moguls, these multimillionaires, and they all have one thing in common. They all have property. And you're like, how do I get into this? Like, this is so difficult. Obviously, they must have gotten a loan from their dad of $1 million like Donald Trump in order to become a property mogul. But our next speaker, Scott Picken, is revolutionizing the industry to making sure that people just like you from South Africa can invest not only in South Africa, but in the United States, in the UK, and in Europe for as little as $10. Oh, wow. So, future property moguls who might become presidents of this country, we're going to watch a short video on Scott, and we're going to bring the man up himself. He's going to be interviewed by Susanna Kennedy, which is a little bit dynamic. They're going to islands in the stream it, but we'll see how it goes. Okay, let's play the video.
Every single person has their own parameters, has what they're trying to achieve in their life. They have what's important for them and their family and their future.
But that old saying, a fair van jou goed na in jou skade, if it's a long way away from your heart, you're going to lose it. But to be honest, those days are gone. That's 20th century. If you're not thinking globally, if you're not chasing the globe for the best returns, you're in the 20th century. It's very simple.
Could you maybe give us some more insight on where people should be looking? I believe you've just written a book on this with Clem Center. So share your insights on that.
As a result of the scenarios, and I have to congratulate you. I think it does exactly that.
I'm here with Scott Picken, who's one of the top property experts, offshore property experts in all of South Africa.
You're providing that access to allow ordinary people to make the kind of decisions that, obviously very rich people are making because they have a continual discussion with their advice.
One of the things that I'm passionate about, but equally one of the things I'm angered by, the ultra wealthy and since 2008, and how they consistently, they're getting wealthy and wealthy. They invest in better assets. Simply and say, their quality of assets is why they have geometrically grown compared to everyone else. And it's like a party that 99% of people aren't invited to. If we don't change it, it's going to go the wrong way, in terms of where the world's going.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand up. Coming with wearing the blue jeans, fighting out of the black corner, all the way from Neisner, we have the undisputed champion of Wealth Migrate, Scott Picken!
Hello to all of you. Welcome, welcome. You can see I've been doing this a long time if you watch that video. So, I've got some things to share with you today. And if it didn't come through clearly on that little presentation, can you get up the PowerPoint, please? My purpose is to help everybody invest like the top 1%. Now, would we agree that the top 1% are probably doing something different to you? Yes or no? And would you agree that it would make sense if we were to invest like them, the chances are we'd get the same results? Make sense? Who here in the room is sitting here going, yeah, that sounds too good to be true? No one else being honest? So I want to share a quick story with you. I was sitting in the stage, sitting with you there in 2010. I love Richard Branson, and one of my dreams was to spend time with him. And I got invited in 2015 to spend a week with him on Necker Island. That was actually him and I kite surfing around Necker Island. And there were two reasons I got invited. The first was that I paid $40,000. And the second is that 25 entrepreneurs got invited because of their purpose. A purpose to change the world and make it a better place. And the homework we were given was that each of us had to come with a life hack. How could we make life better for our other 25 entrepreneurs? Now, there's two things that I want to share with you here. The first one is I fundamentally believe that you need to put yourself in the room where you're the dumbest, poorest person. Trust me, with those 25 people, I was the dumbest, poorest person by a long way. But the second thing is that life's all about hacking. Why should we go the hard way if we can go the easy way? Does that make sense? So, I'm not here to talk financials. I'm not here to look like an accountant. And if you don't mind, I'm going to take my jacket off, because I'm just a simple wealth hacker. I spent that money to go and spend time with these guys to learn from them, because my logic is if I'm around them, I too can have what they have. It started with my father. This is a picture of me and my dad when I was 13. My dad did what you were all taught to do, what we were all taught to do. Go to school, go to university, work hard. He became financial director of Rainbow Chickens. He trusted the financial industry. He invested. He paid his taxes. And yet at the age of 59, my dad died broke. And I must admit, I sat there at a very young age going, this makes no sense to me. So I went and did the research, and a gentleman called Dr. Hannes Dreyer actually taught me that at the age of 65 in England, Australia, and America, 94% of people will be dead, broke, or reliant on the government. 5% of people will be financially independent. Who here would like to be financially independent? Interesting. Do you often put your hand up when you don't know what the answer is? And I mean that sincerely. Because if you go to the financial industry and you ask them what financially independent means, it means that you earn 25% less than your last paycheck the day you turn 65. Now, the last time I checked, I'm sure you don't want to earn 25% less. It's called financially trapped, and it's where most of our parents are right now, yes or no? So I looked at this at a young age and I went, there's 100 of us starting a race. 99 of us are not even finishing the race. Only one person is finishing the race. And we decided that had to change. This was my first property project when I was 13, my first property development when I was 22, my first London property when I was 24, and I then started a company to help people invest in houses and apartments. We did 2,500 in South Africa, hundreds in England, hundreds in Australia, and hundreds in America. But the challenge I found was that there were massive barriers to entry. No matter where you went, people didn't have the money. They didn't have the knowledge. They wanted to get into commercial property but didn't know how. They wanted to get into international property, but the tax and the structuring and the compliance is too difficult. And again, the 99% could not invest like the top 1%. I had a painful experience, 2009. These buildings in Wimbledon, London, there were 48 units that we could buy at a 40% discount, an 8% income return, in pounds, fully furnished, fully tenanted. And I went to my 2,500 investors and I said, this is an absolute no-brainer. It represents a real opportunity. And nothing happened because people didn't want to work together. Those properties were £160,000. Today they're worth £1 million. In 2010, I was in Bondi Beach, Sydney, and I was with two billionaires, and I asked them, what are you investing in? They said, medical buildings. Now, if you remember at that time of where the world was, everything was crashing. I said, why medical? They said, well, think about it. No matter what happens in the world, people need doctors. Secondly, doctors never leave their premises. And thirdly, doctors are very good at being doctors, but they don't make great accountants, so they sign good long-term leases. I remember sitting there thinking, wow, I don't want to be arrogant, but I've cum laude my honors degree in property, my master's degree in property. I've done some of the top property courses out of America, England, and South Africa, and no one ever taught me this. Why are we not being taught this? It was $5 million to participate. I went to the investors and we couldn't. And then I started to really think about it, because for 16 years, I did what you've all done. I'm sure most of you have read this book, Real Estate Riches. It's probably one of the first books I ever read on property. Go and look at 100 properties, make an offer on 10, get accepted for 3, and buy 1. I did it 16 times. I was like, I've got 16 houses. I've got to be financially free. Anyone here own any houses? Yep. And are you financially free? Because from my experience, I got a shitload more hassle in my life and a lot less money. And I got the privilege in 2010 of spending a week with Tony, literally Tony Robbins in Fiji at his private resort. And he taught me another way. For 16 years, I thought I had to do it all myself. I thought I had to go and find all the knowledge, read all the books, go on all the courses, do all the investments myself. And Tony Robbins said, the fastest way to success is to copy successful people. So when it comes to investing, surely the fastest way to wealth is to copy wealthy people. Yes or no? And my logic was, well, it's one thing to copy them, but why don't I partner with them? And so in 2014, we did our first project in America. It was a $16 million deal, 6 buildings, 82 investors from 5 different continents. And the rest is history. Because I literally realized that residential property to me was high in hassle, low in return, and commercial property was high in return, low in hassle. Now, who wants high hassle, low return? But you all buy houses. I'm sorry, I'm being direct. So who wants high return, low hassle? Okay, well, if we want that, then we have to do what the wealthy are doing already. Since then, we've invested in America, England, Europe, Australia, South Africa. We've got members in 178 countries. We facilitated $1.3 billion in investment, and we paid out over $31 million in dividends or exits. And what's fascinating for me is that if you take out your workbooks, page 28, I've got 3 questions for you. Now, we don't have time today to go into this in detail, but if you go to page 28 in your workbook, these are questions that I would highly recommend that you ponder. What would it mean to you in 12 months or less to be earning a globally diversified passive income and having portfolio growth without any hassle or complexity? What would it mean to you? Would it be different? How would you like a system which will statistically help you get there 70% faster, simpler, and safer? I know it sounds too good to be true, and I want to be very clear, this is not a get-rich-quick scheme. There is no way to get wealthy quickly, in my opinion, other than to go to Monte Casino. And it's equally as risky. I've yet to find a way that supposedly is quick money. It doesn't exist. And then lastly, what is generational wealth to you? Not just money to you, but for your children and for your legacy. What would that mean to you? Now, I know that most of you are going to sit here and say, Scott, it's a bridge too far. It sounds too good to be true. That's for them. That's great, but it's not for me. Well, I don't have time today. Brian and his team have put on an incredible event here, but I've been doing this for 28 years, and I cannot share 28 years worth of experience in 30 minutes. It's impossible. So, literally on Tuesday, I'm going to teach you how to earn globally diversified passive income in 3 months, simply and safely, starting with $10. Now, let's be frank. Does anyone in this room not have $10? That's 170, 180 Rand. So what we can agree is that not a single person in this room has an excuse, yes or no? In the past, when I stood on the stage a year ago, the minimum investment was $100,000. And then I completely understand when people are like, I don't have $100,000. But today, every single one of us has $10. And therefore, we do not have an excuse. Is that fair? So, this building, these buildings on the left here, where are these buildings? Where are these properties? Where's this? Manhattan, New York. Who would like to invest in New York from $10? I did in December, along with all our investors. We literally got a 11.5% income return in dollars in Manhattan. So, I don't have time today, and I want to invite up my wonderful friend, Susanna Kennedy, because we were talking about it, and she had the privilege, I had the privilege of being interviewed by her, And what I realized was that people think that it's too good. It sounds too good to be true. And so what's really important is real people and real stories. And so, Susanna, I'd love you to come up and join me, please. Come on, round of applause for Susanna, please.
Hello. Are we live? Are we live? We're live! Hello, everybody. It's so good to be here with you guys and to be supporting Scott. I must say, those of you, did you guys catch our live on the Real Success page? No! Oh my goodness, guys, you've got to go and watch that. But I got the privilege of interviewing Scott about what he is teaching. And now Scott and I, we go back a couple of years now, and when we met, it's a lot of years, Scott.
That's 10 years ago.
It's like 10 years. And when I met Scott, I had just been really, really ill. And so I'd lost all my money to medical bills and not being able to work. And I couldn't afford to buy into this. And I think one of the things that excites me so much about this, how many of you are like, yes, I'd like to get into the property market, but oh my goodness, I don't know how, I don't know where to begin. I'm scared, I've had bad investments. Just put your hands up, say yes. Right, okay. But this makes it so easy. When he demonstrates how easy this is, you guys are all going to be going, can I please, give me some of that? Because that's what I did. I was like, can I sign up right now, Scott? So what are, I think, the disempowering beliefs around this kind of financial investment that these people need to know?
Well, I mean, I want to go there. And I mean, we don't have time today, and I'm happy to share all these testimonials with people. But what I do want to share with people is a couple of lies that you are taught.
Yeah.
Is that fair? Now, if I don't get through, and what Susanna and I discussed was, I've got a lot to share with you, and I could stand here for 4 days if you want me to. So if I don't finish everything today, I'll continue it on Tuesday. Is that fair? Because I would rather have a good conversation with Susanna than rush through slides. Any idiot can stand on stage and talk to slides. Is that fair? So before I go any further, because the regulator's probably sitting in the room, I'm not giving you any financial advice. I'm sharing with you my life lessons, my skills, and my mistakes. But your first lie that you are taught is to buy houses, and that's a way to retire. Now, I've already touched on this because I did it, 16 houses, and I was no closer to financial freedom than I was the day I didn't own a house. And I know you're all sitting there going, yeah, really, what? Do the maths, trust me. So I want to share with you the value chain of real estate quickly. I'll go into this in a lot more detail, but in simple terms, you've been taught to buy a house. There's 16 different middlemen between you and your house. There are multiple fees, no trust, no transparency, and due to the lack of alignment and low returns, you're not getting results. And if you don't like me, I apologize, but 1% of us are retiring wealthy and all of us are buying houses, so you can join the dots. So let's go to Monopoly. Who here has played Monopoly and likes Monopoly? Now, just in my interest, Susanna, if you're playing Monopoly, do you want to own a house or do you want to own a hotel?
In Monopoly, I want a freaking hotel. Who wants a hotel?
So all of us know, because we've all played Monopoly, that we want hotels and not houses, but we all buy houses. Yes? No, but what about if I got 4 houses? Do I want 4 houses or do I want a hotel?
I still want a hotel.
Exactly.
Am I wrong?
Well, if anyone likes to play Monopoly, as you can see, I'm just a big kid that plays it in real life. It's the hotel that always gets you the win, doesn't it? Well, same in real life. So, you know, what's important here if you go to it is that it's the value chain of real estate. At the moment, you're at the bottom end of the value chain. You're having low returns and high hassle with high risk. And if you want to go up the value chain, you can have far higher returns with lower risk. And you're all going to sit here and say, yeah, Scott, it sounds too good to be true. Well, I've asked people from all over the world why they don't do this. And there's a plethora of reasons. Doesn't matter where you are in the world. But the 3 that come through the most: I don't have the time, I don't have the money, and I don't have the knowledge.
Yeah,
you literally touched on this.
Yeah, so guys, my mission in life, all I want to do is expand love on this planet. And what does that mean? That means that all of us can feel empowered and live a life that we really, really love, right? That we're healthy and strong and live a good life. So I said to Scott, this is great, but I don't have time. I don't have time to learn all these investment things. I don't have a massive budget, and I don't have, what was the last one?
Knowledge.
The knowledge. I don't know how to do it. So then I get scared. Does anybody else feel like me? Yes, right? So then he showed me this little plug-in and play, and it took literally 30 seconds to make an investment. And I was like, how? How did you do that? And so I want you to actually share with them a little bit about that, because
let's do it.
This is
Who would like
insane
to
me.
literally invest in like 3 different continents on the planet right now? Yep. Okay, so hopefully the internet will work for us, but let's just do this quickly. So I'm literally logging in live, so we're not doing a presentation here. I'm on the platform. You can go and you can have multiple accounts. You can have in your personal name. You can have an offshore company. But I want to go through, I can see the deal. So I've got a London deal right now. I've got an Austin deal in Texas. I've got an industrial deal in Phoenix. And I've got a mixed-use deal in Germany.
And one of the things that you guys need to know that I also asked Scott straight away, I was like, did you choose these?
Guys.
Did your team choose these so that I don't have to do the research, so that it doesn't take my time? And what was your answer, Scott?
Okay,
His answer was yes, guys. So his team basically goes through, does all the research, finds the properties, finds the investments. So you literally can browse, like you go on Zara looking for a nice dress. You can go on and you can say, oh, I like the look of that one. I like the look of that one. And there are good deals. For me, that is a total winning formula. What do you guys think? Does this sound a little bit more exciting now? Is that all? Is it only that exciting? Ah, it's a little bit better, guys.
So what I was showing you there, I didn't realize you couldn't see the screen, was you can have it in your own name, you can have it in an offshore company, etc. There's a London deal, there's an Austin deal in Texas, there's a Phoenix deal, an industrial building in Phoenix, and there's a mixed-use building in Germany right now. If I was to go in and look at the industrial deal, I'm not sure how many of you thought that you could invest in a building like this, a logistics building in Phoenix. You can go through, you can see all the returns and calculators. I'm not going to bore you with that today. But I literally go and invest from $10. I digitally sign up, I can download everything, and I go agree, and I go make investment.
That's it. That was it. He just invested. That was how quick it was.
We just invested in Phoenix. Wait, hang on, but I'm not finished playing Monopoly. Why don't we go back to the marketplace and I'll do a bit of Germany as well, because if you understand investing, you should have a bit of euros as well from a diversification perspective. And I click here, I go, I agree, I go make investment. And I've now invested in Phoenix. There you can see my 2 investments in Phoenix and in Germany. Now it's at this point that normally when I'm overseas, obviously South Africans aren't very excited, they've used all their energy for the rugby or something. That people literally go wild. They're like, I can't believe this, it's amazing. But not here. Obviously, $10 into America and Germany within 30, 60 seconds.
Is it amazing, guys? Woo!
You know, you can go and look at all your investments, plus you can go and look at your wallet. And there's not great internet here, but you can literally go through your wallet, you can see all your returns, etc., etc., etc. So what Susanna asked me to do was to literally come and demo that live, because when I showed her privately, she was like, Scott, stop talking for 30 minutes and showing slides and actually just demo it.
Because isn't that more impactful, guys? Right? Now you understand how it works. But what I want to understand as well, because a lot of people in the room want to be that top 1%. They want to invest like that top 1%. But what is the difference of investing like this and investing like the top 1%? Is there a difference?
Well, you know what's interesting? Whether you invest $10 or you invest $1 million, you get the exact same return. Because think about it logically. If you're getting 10% of $10 or you're getting 10% of $1 million, you're still getting 10%. Does that make sense? And what's really interesting to me is that people say to me, yeah, but Scott, $10 isn't going to change my life. And I'm like, I agree with you. It's not. But I can tell you one thing. If you can change your habits, you'll change your life.
This is the most important thing, guys. Your life is a sum of your habits, quite literally. Your life is the sum of your habits. So you need to be in a group that can support you to just create the right habits. Does this make sense? Does it make sense? I'm so glad you guys are awake. Welcome back.
Thank goodness for Susan, because like I get so excited about this stuff, but obviously no one else does. So. But you know, I want to share as well, because people say to me, and today we're not going to do it, but we will do it on Tuesday, where I want to share with you real people. So I'll give you an example.
What are the problems and challenges you?
This lady that's here is a school teacher. She's an American living in Italy. She's got 3 kids. She got divorced, and she had no money. She literally was saying, how do I feed my kids every month? She got a deposit that came through from like a pension fund that she'd got 20 years ago. And she was absolutely paralyzed as to what to do next, because she didn't want to lose it. We call it wealth protection. It's not all about wealth creation sometimes, it's about wealth protection. And in this testimonial, which I'll share with you on Tuesday, she literally started earning a passive income in 1 month.
In 1 month. In 1 month, I've watched her testimonial. In 1 month, she started earning a passive income. Can I just add, like I've said, that expanding love is it's my mission, guys, my absolute mission. Do you know that I used to think
Sorry, go.
that I used to think that like money was the root of all evil and all of these things. We've got all these disempowering beliefs, right? But what I've realized is having money enables us to love more. Do you guys get that? Like, if I've got money, I can spoil people. I can take my family on holiday. I can do all of it. I can build a frickin' school if I want to, if I've got money. That's why I'm passionate about finding these kind of solutions that work for people like me who don't have the knowledge, who don't have the time, who don't have the know-how, and can be guided. And that's why I said to Scott, yes, I'll come on stage, I'll support you, I'll jump on board. But Scott, I know that we're going to run out of time. Diversification. Like, this is such a key factor in creating a wealth mindset and also a culture in your life. Can you speak to us a little bit about that? And again, guys, if you haven't signed up, Tuesday night, sign up now for the mastermind. Scott will be hosting it. There's not enough time, and I'm up here with you guys, so I'm taking up a lot of his time as well.
No, but I mean, look, so the single most important thing, like, we live in uncertain times right now. There's wars all over the place. There's been elections, funny elections. There's been assassination attempts. You know, there's inflation, interest rates, oil prices, load shedding, you name it going on. And so what do you do when you're uncertain? What do most people do? They hide. They bury their money under the mattress. Their financial advisors tell them to, do nothing. And yet when you talk to Ray Dalio, who's the single person that I would recommend that you follow more than anyone on this planet, he says the single most important strategy to uncertainty and challenging times is diversification. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love South Africa. I could live anywhere I want, and I choose to live in our incredible country. Guys, we should be proud of where we live. It is a phenomenal, phenomenal country.
Woo!
And I get to watch my rugby team win regularly. But on a serious note, you cannot have all your eggs in one basket. It doesn't matter whether you live in England, America, Australia, or South Africa. You should be diversifying. You saw what I said in the video right up front. You should be chasing the best returns around the planet. Live here. I completely think you should live here. But if you diversify, your money can live around the world, which will be a lot safer than having all your eggs in one basket. Does that make sense from a diversification perspective? Now, I get the fact that even 10 years ago, that was really hard. You needed $100,000 to go buy a house in London, or pounds, whatever you want to call it. Now with $10, you don't have the excuse. Can you see how much responsibility Susanna and I are actually just placing onto your shoulders? No more excuses. Can't blame the country, can't blame what school you went to, can't blame your upbringing, can't blame anything. The only person you can blame is yourself if you don't literally copy what the wealthiest are doing. And on Tuesday, I'm going to share with you the value chain of real estate. I'm going to teach you how you can go up the value chain of real estate. And there's another thing I want to share with you, which is that financial advisors and the current financial industry is teaching you to trust them because they got you covered. just like they had my dad covered. But I've had the privilege of working with a family office. Just my interest, who here knows what a family office is? Few hands. Very few. So family offices look after the wealthiest families in the world. I work with a family office that has 65 families. They manage over $600 million, which means the average family has at least $10 million plus per family. And for 10 years, I've studied what they do to see what the steps are to not just creating wealth, but to creating generational wealth. And as a financial advisor, they are helping you with one of the 9 steps. One. If you want to know the other 9, I'll share with them on Tuesday. It's not a big secret. Musa, who's incredible, just by the way, a round of applause for all the sound guys and everything. This place is amazing.
Yeah.
You have no idea what it's like to run this place. And Musa said to me, Scott, don't worry, I won't steal your presentation. I said, dude, take the presentation. There's nothing that's here that's my IP. All that I'm passionate about is changing it from knowledge. Anyone can stand on stage and teach you, but actually giving people access, because it's the access that will change your results. Does that make sense?
And one of the testimonials, which shame, Scott didn't have enough time because I've come and taken up the time so I could chat to you guys. But one of the testimonials, the woman that is speaking, she speaks about the fact that their financial advisor, Scott's team, okay, actually sat with her and not cookie cut out, yes, all of you need to do this, individually figured out what the best plan for her was, like step by step, what to invest, what to save, how to diversify. And for me, that's like a dream come true, because it just takes all the worrying, all the guesswork. Then I just know, okay, every month this money comes in, it goes there, and my wealth is growing, and my ability to expand love is growing. Are you guys amped for this? Yes, I'm so glad.
So I'm sure there's a few negative Nellies in the room. And this gentleman here, listen to who he is. He's been investing with us for the last year.
And I'm a living example of that. In my little life journey from opening up my own auditing practice, the firm today audits the Auditor General of South Africa in terms of doing pre-issuance reviews, etc.
So Abdul, let me ask a question to you.
So, look.
Can you just reiterate who that was, Scott, just to make sure that they got it?
So his name is Abdul. He's an incredible guy. He's 72 years old. He's part of our mastermind. And he's the auditor of the Auditor General of South Africa. I was a bit nervous when he came and became a client. But my point being is that the reason he joined was he was a wealthy man in South Africa, but he wanted to diversify everything we're talking about. And if you haven't realized about this, I'm pretty passionate about it, which is why there's no ways that we had zero intent of trying to teach you everything today. And there's no run to, or anything like that. It's literally just turn up. But please don't have excuses in 10 years. Do you know that I've done this now for 20 years? 20 years I've stood on stage. And the thing I hear most often is, Scott, I heard you 10 years ago. I wish I'd done something. Please can we turn the wishes into results?
Yeah. Are you guys ready to expand love? Are you ready to expand love? Yay! I'm so glad. Scott, you've got an amazing quote that you live by. Don't you want to just share that? I know we have to finish right now.
So I'm literally going to jump through this quickly in terms of the presentation. And it's a gentleman that I think is very dear to all of us in this country. That's Nelson Mandela. And Nelson Mandela said, money won't create success. The freedom to make it will. What I'm sharing with you is not only the knowledge, but a practical solution on how you can do it. And to this incredible man that helped build such an incredible country, we as South Africans we have a right to play on the global stage. And the technology now is allowing us to do it. And so come and join me. Change your life, change others' lives. But most importantly, when you walk out of that door, the burden of responsibility is shifted from Susanna and Scott to your shoulders, because you no longer have excuses. Can I say one last thing? If we're going to have a great country, share it with your friends. Because this is how we solve one of the greatest challenges, not only in our country, but on the planet. Susanna, as always, you've been amazing. Thank you so much, everyone. Thanks for your time.
Love you guys. Thank you, Scott.
And I think with another African proverb, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, we go together.